Imagine waking up in the morning, getting a good stretch in with some morning yoga, then going straight into a vigorous workout, going from push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, even mountain climbers, getting a good run in, really getting a good sweat going and really pushing it to fully wake up the body and get those feel-good chemicals online for the day ahead. So now you're finished and you need a good cool down because you're all heated up. You hop in the shower. Yet this time you turn the heat down. And as the water pours over you, you keep turning it down to cool. And it feels so much better. You can actually get cool now. So you keep going. So you start challenging yourself to see how cold you can go. You turn it down some more, and now it's really cold, and it feels great. So you turn it down some more now, and it's really, really cold. And you have to take even an extra big breath when it hits you. It's that cold. So you got to focus on controlling your breathing and relaxing as this freezing cold water rushes over you. And you remember, I only need 30 seconds. So let's start counting. 1, 2, 3. Feeling great about your morning accomplishments. And boom, you reach 30 seconds and done. You shut off the water, dry off, get dressed, and start to feel amazing and alive. And you head out feeling ready to start the day with a smile and amazing energy for the day ahead. That is quite an interesting morning, right? Starting out with a cold shower. You can have that amazing morning experience as well, even if at the moment you don't like the cold, you're scared of doing it, or not even into working out in the mornings or even pushing your boundaries. In this episode, we'll support you to try it with all of our knowledge and experience around it. If you follow all the tips around this, you'll be able to hop into the cold and receive the cold benefits from it, like sharpening your mind, enhancing focus and alertness, increasing your mood, becoming more resilient, able to handle more stress, increasing your health, and more. So I'm really looking forward to this episode.
I love that. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Julia, and I'm here with Brian. And together we are Create the Joy Link, where we share simple strategies and tools to bring more joy into your life. And you must be thinking at this point, like, what the heck he's talking about? That seems like a morning from the hell. And actually, this is some of my mornings because today we are talking about cold exposure and why you should even put yourself through this suffering. In the next 20 to 30 minutes, you will learn exactly what you will get out of this not so slight discomfort, which is a boost of your mood and the sense of clarity during winter, where we all feel groggy and tired. And even if at the moment, we all have these days, right? You feel like lack of drive to do anything. You prefer to stay in and watch Netflix, which is totally fine. And maybe you feel a little bit lonely and you are just dwelling on your thoughts that you will be alone forever or you don't have good friends. It's okay. We all have these moments as well. And then you might be thinking that winter sucks. Been there, done that. Now it's different. And today's topic will help you to turn the things around because you will have more energy and you will improve your mental health in just 30 seconds. Winter bathing, cold exposure, cold shower, call it however you want. And we are talking about it today from experience. I'm doing winter bathing in Denmark, where it's windy and cold in an open water. And Brian is doing cold showers. So we have our personal experiences that we're bringing into the table today. Additionally, we will share with you some of the research around it. Yeah, I guess the only appropriate way how to start this episode, it's let's jump in.
That is a great way to start the episode. Just jumping right in. Yeah, because if you think about it too long, you're not going to do it. So sometimes it's great just to jump right in. There are three different ways that we have broken this episode down into, and that's mental, emotional, and physical. So, starting with the mental benefits of these cold showers, cold exposure, which is now quite normal for me, there are a ton of benefits. And that's both the physically stimulating, yet for me, it's more of a mental game of I got this. And it also really sharpens the mind by introducing that shock, right? That wakes up the brain to be in the moment because you can't be thinking about anything else because this thing is happening to you now. Right. And so scientifically, that really improves cognitive function. And there's nothing like a cold shower in the morning to really wake you up to having a great day. So you get this hormone release that enhances focus, alertness, and your mood increases as well. So for me, that's a big win, right? You want to feel better, then have a cold shower.
Exactly. The first 30 seconds of cold exposure triggers your fight or flight response and results in releasing endorphins like dopamine and serotonin, that they are associated with pleasure and mood boost and energy. So, who wouldn't want that? And actually, what Brian said about this being focused and in the present, it's happening due to your parasympathetic system type of nervous system. You got two, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So when the parasympathetic nervous system takes over, it's literally closing your mind. You are trying to survive in here, and that gives you a sense of clarity and sort of natural high. So for example, when I do winter bathing, I'm often like shouting or screaming and just like feeling full of ecstasy because you just get this like, oh, it's happening. But also what Brian said something about this mental. I have this really cool video that I think I will definitely use to promote this episode where I was getting into this cold water and I was like breathing heavily and I was like, I can't. And then I snapped immediately out of it. I'm like, of course I can. This is more mental exercise because we are programmed to avoid discomfort at all costs. So when we put ourselves through uncomfortable situation just for the sake of it, that builds up amazing resilience, especially when it comes to mental, because you won't die. You won't die. That's it. You will be okay. I was standing in the ice water for 5 minutes, and I was thinking that my muscles have frozen and I won't be able to stand up again. But I'm still here, and I was feeling amazing that day. So yeah.
There's a lot that the body, the mind, the emotions really go through when it comes to cold exposure. And a lot of it starts with the mind, right? There's the moment before you hop in, there's the moment that you're in, and then the moment that you're out. And there's a real transition, like a transformation that happens. There can bring up a ton of fear before you hop in, right? So that is where the real mental game begins, right? And for me, it's really important to just say I'm going to do it and then not give it another thought, right? And then hopping in the shower, the water just starts going down, down, down. And at some point, I'm like, is this cold enough? I'm like, nope. Right? Because if there's a question about is it cold enough, then you haven't hit your limit yet. There's still some room. So you want to keep going and keep going and keep going until the question becomes a statement of stop. Right? We've hit the limit.
When you're saying it, it sounds uncomfortable. You should just go all the way down. That's it. But I think it's a little bit like an analogy in life, right? That when we do something that it's difficult, let's say, or we think that it's difficult, or we put the story around it that it's going to be difficult, there is a lot of fear around it, right? But then when we literally jump into it, the fear is disappearing because of the action is there. So it's all about training your mind to not give in into that fear and just saying, okay, it's a part of the game. And the more you train that, the better you will be off in life, because instead of wondering how something will turn out, you will just do it, right? So instead of wondering how cold you will be, then you will just experience that. So there is so much that there is such a big portion of our life that we live in our heads. Sometimes when I'm going winter bathing, I'm like thinking for 20 minutes how it will be when I will be like for that 5 minutes in the water, which makes absolutely no sense. And so I absolutely love when Brian says that he has this saying that it's easier to do something 100% than 99. And I think that doing something 99%, it's a story of my life. I have this hesitation to me. So when you hesitate, should I get in or not? Let's say into the cold water or into anything in life. That's what creates pain, and that's what creates suffering, and that's what prolongs that, because you have more time to play with the story, and you experiencing fear or discomfort before even facing the uncomfortable thing.
That is definitely correct. You know, the more that we stay in that uncomfortable middle of, am I going to do this? Am I really going to do this? Like entertaining the fear, the more pain will come up. And the more that we just decide that we're going to do it and go 100% all in and not entertain that whiny voice anymore and just going 100%, then the more courage that we're going to find in the moment. And we're going to come out with more courage at the end. Look at what I've accomplished. That was difficult. And over time, you develop more trust in yourself. And then that feeling of, I got this, I can do this, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, at some point, maybe for me, it will go from, slowly turning the dial to, what the hell with it? Here we go. And then just boom, right?
But I would say that cold showers are slightly more difficult than getting into the cold water, even if it's outside.
Well, the funny thing is that there's a big difference between the two, right? Physically speaking, right? Because one, the water is coming directly on your head, right? And then it goes through, like trickles down the rest of the body. And so I'm doing a lot of this, right? Just making sure I'm getting my back, I'm getting my front. It's like, right? Because you can stick your arms out and it won't be cold. So you want to get everything in and really, get the back, get the front, get the whole thing. And in water, like a big body of water, well, everything's going to get wet up until here, right? Or however deep that you go, it's like, yeah, it's a different type of exposure.
What are the emotional benefits of cold exposure?
Well, the emotional, we've touched on a little bit already around.
With the natural high, right?
Yeah, the natural highs and also facing fears, right? Overcoming those emotional obstacles, like pushing your emotional limits to how much you can take, going past your limits a bit as well, and staying calm under stress, right? And this is all incredibly healthy for everyone to push through our limits, right? Because this is a voluntary exercise that's incredibly healthy for the body and the mind, and figuring out what emotions get triggered up along the way. And then the more you do it, you'll see that changes, right? Those emotions don't get triggered at that same temperature anymore. It'll take a lot more. So you're building up your emotional resilience over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I can see that, because I remember at the beginning because winter bathing, this is something that I started last year, and I remember how I was like panicking and just, entertaining these thoughts of fear and being anxious around it and all of that. But I'm like, gotta do it. Like 5 minutes, that's it. Or a swim, or it doesn't matter if I do less and I do less and I do more the next time. It doesn't matter, but I'm going for it. So it's all about seeing it. But that's absolutely right. And it's kind of, this is one of the exercises that will help you level up as a person in terms of facing the problems, right? So if you have a problem level 5 and you are, let's say, dealing with that problem on level 3, then that problem will still seems larger than that, right? But when you have the other way, then it's also, this will seem like a not big deal, because yeah, I always say that sometimes when you push yourself at the gym or with the cold exposure, then like then sending this email that is maybe not comfortable, or setting a boundary or having difficult conversation, it's not that difficult anymore. Just compare, like, would I rather get back to that cold water for, let's say, 2 times the time, or send that email? And usually it's like, yeah, I would rather send that email.
Right. It can support other areas of your life when you
Exactly.
build it up to be strong.
Mm.
Yeah, it builds up confidence so that you can feel good about doing some of those other activities that can also bring up the fears. Well, if I've tackled this and I can do this, well, that's not as scary. I can definitely do that because I see the journey that I've done with the cold exposure, and that compounds my resilience and confidence over time. And so if I understand how that story works, then I'm more willing and able to jump into these other emotional or even business scenarios with interactions with people, because I know, well, all I have to do is start small.
Exactly.
Right?
One step at the time, and
Right.
start small, and the things will progress over time, because nobody jumps in for 11 minutes straight, which is recommended time by Andrew Huberman is talking about it. So it's to get the maximum benefits, it's 11 minutes a week of cold exposure. So I think I don't do 11. I do, but again, the cold exposure could be considered that, let's say you are outside with your t-shirt on when it's cold. So
Right.
when you do winter bathing, that's right. So if you want to do it right, based on what science is recommending, then 11 minutes in total a week, that's the target to aim at.
Yeah, I think right now I'd say I do about half that. Yet, if other things count, like it's really cold outside in the Netherlands right now, I think, yeah, it's maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 degrees. That's about it. Going walking out barefoot in the grass,
Yeah, that is a cold exposure.
right? Because over time, like, yeah, because then I can walk a ton. The feet will kind of start stinging, and then after that, they'll just go a bit numb. Right? And you're still just walking, and that's really, really good for the body as well.
Yeah, so
Maximum.
there is also this type of cold exposure when you get the bowl with ice and you put your face into it, because there is a lot of nerves in
Right.
your face. And when you put the cold ice water, your face there, that's also a part of cold exposure. It's like, it's a cheat code to winter bathing. If you don't feel comfortable with entire body, you can start icing your face.
Wow. Yes. Yeah, that's got to be really good for fighting off inflammation as well. I mean, that really gets us into some of the physical conversation, around the neuroscience and the brain and the body and the inflammation. Yet I've never heard of that before, dipping your face. And boy, that's got to be bring up a lot of emotional and mental
Yeah,
aspects as well, because it's cold.
exactly. And yeah. So this boost this can improve your sleep, right? Putting your face into ice cold water can improve your sleep.
Wow.
And also, yeah, I heard about it. And yeah, so it's kind of, I think Dave Asprey from biohacking, he's talking a lot about it. So yeah, of course, this is because there is a lot of nerves ending in our face. That's
Right.
why it's quite sensitive. That's how it meant to be, right? I think. So
Mhm.
yes, and one of the other physical benefits of cold exposure is that the fact that cold is activating the brown fat, which produce when you are cold, then the heat is produced and it burns calories. So cold exposure, it's considered in one of the tools or strategies when you are doing some weight loss, or you are trying to maintain to be in a great shape.
Good for weight loss. Wow. Yeah, I have actually heard that it speeds up recovery times by simply lowering the temperature of the muscles, right? We're slowing down any damage and swelling, like inflammation, so that you're reducing the muscle soreness. And then that's really why you see like in the movies or the major athletes have bags of ice on their knees or on their shoulders after a big game, right? So we can do that as well. You can get a workout for your blood vessels as well by having cold exposure, right? Because it constricts the blood vessels, and then warming them up expands them and stretches them, so it improves the elasticity and cardiovascular health as well. So you get a good physical workout there, which is incredibly healthy for you as well. It really gets the blood moving.
Exactly. And it's also good for your skin if you want to look young for and fresh for a long time. Cut negative people out of your life and do some cold exposure as well.
Right.
The first
Ice
one,
bath them out.
yeah, the first one is the biggest needle mover, but if you want to just top up, then that one. But it's, I'm joking, but it's kind of true. So it's really good because there is, like my mom always said, that the cold it's preserves, and that is kind of the truth, right? Because think about, yeah,
The
as British,
fridge.
yeah, a fridge, yeah, it makes your, so I think that's the same you want to do with your skin and your health and your billions of beautiful cells in your body. And there was
Right.
one more long-term benefit when it comes to cold exposure and winter bathing, which is improved insulin sensitivity and the reduced chronic inflammation, which are amazing.
Right. Yes.
Since the insulin is about how quickly you regulate all the sugar that you are consuming, and then that's, yeah, and then that's also prevents from getting those spikes throughout the day. So it's more even energy.
Well, yeah, that is it's something that's affecting a lot of people in the world, let's say in the West and in the States, right? Controlling those insulin levels and how the body regulates sugar. So, yeah, and I know that's something that, the doctors, the pharmacists are not recommending that, right? They're like, here, take a pill, not, do something natural for your body. That is incredibly important to reduce the inflammation, right? Along with the activating all of the neuroscience knowledge as well, it increases the norepinephrine production, which also reduces inflammation and improves energy levels. So this activity is just really proven to support the body on so many levels. I would highly recommend it.
Exactly. And that's what you learned about in this episode. You learned about all the mental, emotional, and physical benefits of cold exposure. And you can choose how you want it. If you want to start small, you can just ice your face, put the water and ice into the bowl, and you know what to do next. And afterwards, you can go with the ice showers. But if you want to do it, you can just get out there and into the cold water. And usually there are many clubs around it. So you can find someone in your local community to join you. We haven't spoke about it, but there are also benefits to that you can find buddies to do it with you. And to put it a step farther, and for you to experience the benefits of like the tingling skin, of getting this high, of feeling like you want to shout, right? That's what happens often when you get into ice bath. And we have a task for you. So we would like you to do as the science says and figure it out the way how you can expose yourself to the cold for 11 minutes. 11 minutes this week. So you can divide it how you want it. You can do 2 minutes cold shower for 6 days, up to you. You can stay longer. You can go into the pool and go to the ice bath there. Just try it and see how you will feel after that week. If you experience all the beautiful benefits, which is a boost in the mood and more energy and the sense of clarity, focus, or not. And I would say that it's worth to invest 11 minutes into your well-being this week.
Yes, I would as well. And I am going to be doing this challenge along with everyone else because, like I have said,
Me too.
right, it's actually doubling my cold exposure in a week. So that's really healthy for me. And I know all the reasons behind it. And Julia has also illuminated us today on even more benefits. So definitely join us on that challenge this week. And thank you for your time today. And if you found this valuable, be sure to subscribe to our Substack and wherever else that you listen to your podcast and get notified about the new JoyLink episodes. And if you want to hang out with us even more, you can be sure to join us on our Facebook community. And thank you again from JoyLink, and we'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.